Joining me now to talk about this legislative victory for Republicans, House Majority Whip from the great state of Minnesota, Tom Emmer. Great to have you with us, my friend. We can talk pucks all day, but we'll talk politics for now. I just have to run this by you because I saw this in Politico. I read Politico. You probably read it, too.
There are better ways to hurt yourself, Kevin. But go ahead.
Indeed. But I want to share this headline. Your card. You kid because you care. This says, Republicans fear time is running out to pass Trump's agenda. How long has there been a Trump agenda? Didn't you just get started?
I think he started about 6 weeks ago, and he's moving at a breakneck pace. Frankly, the House is doing things that nobody thought we could do, Kevin, and we are staying, at least for now, we're staying on a very aggressive, tight schedule. The Senate's the one that's going to have to get up and realize we can't wait around anymore. You got senators talking about we'll get to it in August. Well, based on where the House is right now, if the Senate and the House can agree on a budget resolution in the next 2 weeks, because ours are different, they have to be identical. If we can agree on that, I should say before the end of March, or by the end of March, then we're in the ball game to draft the reconciliation bill in the month of April, early May, and be voting as early as May.
Which would be breakneck speed. By the way, we just received word the president did sign the bill, so the government is funded through the end of September. I'd be remiss if I didn't get you to weigh in on tariffs. A lot of people, there's a great deal of consternation in the press and maybe in some circles about this idea of tariffs, but they, to me, seem to neglect the fact that we're hit with tariffs all the time as a nation. I just want to share a graphic that sort of lays this out and get your reaction as the president, again, tries to level the playing field, if you will. Just some of these tariffs. Canadian tariffs on U.S. dairy, 212% for Canada. Japan's tariffs on U.S. rice, 154%. India, 150% on U.S. liquor, and India's tariffs on U.S. cars, 125%. When people are up in arms about the idea of utilizing tariffs to level the playing field or create what the president has called fair trade, not free, but fair trade, I'm bemused. What do you think about his tactics?
Look, he campaigned on this. He said all during the campaign that he's going to make sure he stands up for the American people, the American farmer, the American manufacturer, the hardworking men and women of this country. He's going to make sure that they're able to have access to markets around the world. And right now, it is not fair. He talks about free trade, but it's got to be fair trade. And our colleagues, our allies even, are not treating us very well. And you brought up the dairy issue, 212%. I come from the state of Minnesota. Dairy and manufacturing are the two biggest drivers of our private economy. I got the worst governor in the country, a guy by the name of Tim Walz, who goes out and says Trump hates the farmer. Actually, no, Trump loves the farmer. What have they done to try and give them access to the market just north of us? Do you know that eggs, there's a 270% Canadian tariff on eggs. Donald Trump is actually fighting for Americans while others are just spewing their hatred of Donald Trump. And it's smaller and smaller.
That is a massive number for the eggs. Although, in fairness, I talked to officials from Canada, some of the premiers. In fact, we'll have Alberta's premier, Danielle Smith, on a little bit later. And I think it is fair to suggest, from their vantage point, when you do it this way, it will hurt individual families and small businesses in particular on both sides of the border. How do you respond to that criticism?
You know, the Canadians are our friends. And obviously, you and I were talking a little bit about hockey before we started. I grew up with a bunch of Canadians competing all the time. They don't want to do that. I mean, this is what they're talking about, is they're going to hurt American businesses, whatever. It's about fairness. And I would tell the premier that if you're going to do that, all you're going to do is make Donald Trump's point. He has told Americans for the last 4 years as he ran for this office that he was going to use tariffs as a negotiating tool because we aren't being treated fairly by our allies even, let alone around the world with everybody. He's going to fight for that. And these guys should understand, when Donald Trump says, we want to be treated as we treat you, it's fairness. And I think the premier, there's been a lot said. So I'm sure the competition is great. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same side of this thing. Let's treat each other, each, the way we would expect to be treated.
To use a little hockey vernacular, no need to drop the gloves here.
Yeah.
We can maybe grab sweaters and hash this thing out. It is always a pleasure to have you with us. I know as the whip, you're very busy this time of year. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
And next time I see you, we'll talk more pucks. Appreciate that. Tom Emmer with us today.